Second for Vodafone McLaren Mercedes, Fernando Alonso, and scoring his 5th win of the season, and Scuderia Ferrari Marlborough's 200th Grand Prix win, Kimi Räikkönen. Kimi, a fantastic win for you in very, very difficult conditions. Lewis had the advantage early on, but when it started to rain again around lap 27, you came into your own.
Yeah, I had some problems with the front tires really, or with the balance of the car in the start of the race. It was understeering way too much, so I just tried to get rid of that. The first part that I knew that this one is gonna start drying up is gonna come to me, so I just kept pushing as hard as I could. We knew that we expected to run quite a bit longer than Lewis, so it worked out well. After the pit stop, I knew that I noticed that he couldn't pull away anymore. I was catching him little by little, and then with little rain, my car was pretty good. So once I got past him, and then there was too many yellow flags. So every time when I was able to pass, I needed to back off. But then in the end, I could pass him and quite easily pull away, and just waited the right moment to change on the dry tires, and all worked well. So wasn't any problem really.
Well, a great second phase of the race for you on the Bridgestone softer tyre. Looked like the white band had disappeared towards the end of the race. What were the conditions like for you as the track dried out?
It was okay, but I had basically similar balance than on wet tires on the start. Too much understeer first, and then I just waited and waited that I get rid of the graining on the front, and then once the front came back, I was able to keep the gap and push hard and open it a little bit. So I just waited long enough. I thought that it will never come back the front end, but once it came back, the car was good again. So it was a bit tricky, especially to get past people with only one try line. But it was a difficult race, but everything worked well. The team did a good job, so I'm pretty happy now.
And although you were about 8 seconds ahead of Fernando in that phase of the race, the second half of the race, he was nonetheless a pressure there for you.
Yeah, for sure. I knew that he's pushing hard. He was catching me first when I had some problems with the front tires, but once they started working, I could keep the gap same. So I knew that then we should be fine. But you want to really keep pushing, because you never know, if it rains a little bit, it might change the whole picture again. So I was happy to have a little bit breathing space, and like I said, all went well. We're back in the championship, and it will be interesting in the last race.
Certainly will. Congratulations to you, Kimi. Fernando, congratulations to you too. Of course, you were not a happy man after qualifying yesterday, but a very good race to you, a great team performance as well. An interesting first lap with Felipe.
Yeah, I think it was good today, the result at the end, and these 8 points is a help for sure. And first lap also, it was very interesting with Felipe in 10-1, 10-2, and then 10-4, basically every corner. I didn't manage to finish the lap in front of him, and this cost me a little bit of time in the first part of the race, because I was behind him and not very comfortable, because you lose a little bit too much downforce in 10, 7, and 8, the high speed corners. So at the end, I think he did a pit stop at one point that helped me a little bit.
And then, of course, when you rejoined, you were just in front of Felipe. There was pressure there, but you managed to pull away from him.
Yeah, it was extremely difficult, especially the first corner, because you put the dry set of tires, you go out of the pits, it's completely wet, the first part of the pits. And you arrive to 10-1, not knowing how the conditions are there with the slick tires. So I was able to keep the inside line very, very carefully. And I was lucky that was only that dry line, and Felipe didn't pass me in the outside because it was wet. So it worked really nice, and just on the limit, but in front of him.
As we said, it was a difficult qualifying session for you now. What are your thoughts as you go into Brazil? Obviously, your championship now very much alive.
Yes, it's, I think will be very difficult, the championship, because I know that will be not easy to take 4 points of Luis, and you know, the performance will be, I hope, very similar between the two all through weekend, not only Q1 and Q2. So, you know, hopefully I can do a good race. But you know, for the championship, I still have something really, you know, dramatic. If I want to win with a normal race, will be impossible.
Well done to you, Fernando. Felipe, you set fastest lap right at the end there, but you are P3. A difficult race, difficult conditions, obviously.
Yeah, for sure, very difficult race. Very interesting race, actually. I mean, I'm sure we were, in a way, not very lucky to put the dry tires, and then it suddenly starts to rain again. So it was very difficult condition. I was also asking the team that I was not going to stay in the track like that, because it was so easy to lose the car. So it was a very, very difficult moment that time. But then stops the rain, and I was picking up the pace slowly, and unfortunately it was not enough to be in front of Fernando when he pit. And then I had quite a lot of graining on my tires. I don't know, maybe because we went out on the soft in a very cold condition, and the tires dropped completely the temperature, and I got a lot of graining. But then in the end of the race, the graining was coming back, and it was getting very, very good balance again, but it was too late. But I think in the condition like that, finish in the top 3 is very good. Unfortunately, we wanted to win, but it was not possible today. But it was a good result for the team.
Great result for Ferrari. And Kimi, returning to you, a 3-way fight now as we go into the last round in Brazil. The first time that's happened in Formula One since 1986. All 3 of you got fresh engines for that race. Winner take all, virtually.
Not really. It depends what happens to the others and who will win. But for sure we go in there. It's going to be interesting. No idea how the car will be there. It's first year. But looking what happened last year there with the Ferrari, Felipe won. And they were pretty strong. So hopefully the car is good. I think so will be interesting battle all way, the whole weekend, and we just can do our best, and hopefully if we can win, it's not still up to us what happens to the championship. But we saw today that anything can happen, and we kind of back in the championship a little bit. So especially in a better position now than we were coming here, but it's still going to be very difficult.
7 points covering the first 3. Now if we could have some words from you, Kimi, in your own language. Finish.
No, ihan hyvä kisa, että ajateltiinkin, että oltiin aika varmoja, että meillä on hyvä auto kisassa, että oli keli mikä tahansa, että aluksi oli vähän hankala taistella Hamiltonia vastaan, että auto puski liikaa, mutta sitten kun se vähän kuivui, niin auto rupesi toimimaan niin kuin pitikin ja pystyttiin saavuttaa sitä, varsinkin varikkopysähdyksen jälkeen, kun satoi vähän vettä, niin oli aika paljon nopeampi, mutta oli hankala päästä ohi, kun oli liikaa keltaisia lippuja. Mutta loppujen lopuksi hyvä tulos, että tiimi teki loistavaa työtä ja auto toimi hyvin aina silloin, kun piti. Että nyt ollaan takaisin taas taistelussa mestaruudesta, että vieläkin on vaikea voittaa sen, mutta ei sitä tiedä, että tänäänkin tapahtui kaiken näköistä, että katsotaan mitä pystytään tekemään viimeisessä kisassa.
Thank you, Kimi. Fernando in Spanish.
Bueno, primero de todo, dar las gracias a todos los aficionados que han venido aquí a Shanghai, que estaba el circuito repleto de banderas españolas, y eso ha dado fuerzas en una carrera y en un fin de semana difícil, sin duda, con una crono ayer bastante decepcionante y saliendo una posición no la mejor de cara a recortar esos 12 puntos en el campeonato. Hoy hemos tenido la suerte de cara, ha abandonado Hamilton y he podido hacer una carrera muy difícil por las condiciones de agua y de seco, pero muy buena y ya te digo, con mucha suerte y bueno, pues ya te digo, dando las gracias a todos por levantarme el ánimo cuando más lo necesitaba y bueno, de cara a Brasil dentro de 15 días, pues a cruzar los dedos y volver a hacer una buena carrera.
Thank you, Fernando. And Felipe in Portuguese.
Bom, acho que foi uma corrida muito difícil, uma corrida muito competitiva do começo até o final. Infelizmente não foi possível vencer, até em função de uma estratégia quando a gente pôs pneu de pista seca e voltou a chover. Foi muito difícil naquele momento segurar o carro na pista, mas depois parou de chover e a gente conseguiu continuar com o pneu sem ter que parar outra vez. E ali minha corrida começou. Infelizmente não foi possível de chegar talvez entre os 2 primeiros ou quem sabe brigar pela vitória, mas acho que numa condição como essa chegar entre os 3 é sempre importante, principalmente importante para a equipe que está de novo na luta pelo campeonato.
Thank you, guys.